Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our U.S. English-speaking corporate update call. We want to welcome each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy Wednesday in the middle of the day to join us. I want to recognize our co-founder and CEO, David Brown, on the call, our COO, Angie Hawthorne, as well as our A16, Christina Godoy, joining us. She's driving to the road of success, reaching the top as she always does. And so we want to welcome her and each and every one of you. I know, love having your cameras on. I know we see some of you guys at work. Griselda, you're also driving, going to wherever you are, drive safe. I'm actually in my car as well. I just pulled on the side of the road, taking care of some things. So I hope your guys' week is going good. Just to give you guys an update, and I don't want to dampen the call. As you all may know, I'm a football coach here in Hawaii. Last year, we had an amazing season where we won the state championship. But on our journey, we had 3 of our coaches passed away, which was the driving force for the motivation our kids use to play the best that they could. But the unfortunate thing is, last week we had one of our players' father passed away, and just last night one of our other players' father passed away. So we had 2 of our players' fathers passed away suddenly. They were healthy people, and one of them last night he just lives 3 houses from me. So he was in our church ward. Great family, and his father just fainted and just didn't get out of a coma and just passed away last night. And so I wanted to start this call letting each and every one of you know how much we love you, how much our lives, no matter how healthy we are, what walk of life we are, whether we're older in life, whether we're in the prime of our life, whether we're just starting our lives. Willow, you just graduated from college. The future is bright in front of you. And sky's the limit, but we don't take anything for granted. Each day we go about the day, and my advice to you is win the day, win the opportunity that you have, take the opportunity that you have in front of you, to tell each and everyone that you come in contact with that you love them, that you appreciate them. And more than anything else, serve people that you can, because we don't know if that might be the last time we see them or we come in contact with. Make that phone call, whether it's just out of appreciation, whether that's out of thankfulness, whether that's out of love to see if you can help and serve. But keep and cherish the time that you have, because we never know when it's going to be. We're grateful that we're here at Actives. I am grateful that we have the products that we have that will lend a help into our health. And also it gives us the future from a business standpoint, the time that it gives us to be with those that we love. And so I want to thank David and Angie and each and every one of you for creating this opportunity that I have to be with you here on this call on this Wednesday. And so with that being said, I just wanted to open up the floor, knowing that our topic this month, remember, is to invite and to present. To invite and to present is the theme that we're going. And so I just wanted to see if anyone had an opportunity this week to invite or present to anyone that they got in contact with since our last Wednesday call. If you want to, take yourself off of mute, or you can type it in the chat and we can say it for you. Can you guys hear me, Angie?
We sure can.
Okay.
It sounds like Christina has both invited and presented. So
I see that. Okay.
And Coco, yeah, please, Coco, share.
I was presenting and also include my upline Trish in one of those presentations. So I was able to do a 3-way. I was at the beginning was 1-on-1, and then to close that was a 3-way validation with her. And that was pretty good because that was a person that was in the previous company and he was a Pro 6. So we'll see.
Very good, Coco. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is great. Griselda, looks like you also did it. Awesome. Kelly, thank you so much for doing that. But that's the only way that we're going to be able to grow our business and achieve the goals that we have set out for ourselves or even for our group collectively. So thank you all for sharing, for accepting the challenge. It is the 19th of October. We're more than halfway done. Today is also my younger brother's birthday, by the way. I don't know why that just came in my head right now, October 19th. So it's a great day. So thank you all for sharing. And if you always want to share throughout our call, you can always take yourself off of mute, raise your hand or whatever. We would love to hear from you. I know David alluded to last week that we could just sit here and just listen to each and every one story. So feel free to share whenever you can. Also, last night was our Newcomers Call that was hosted by our CEO, David Brown. He did an amazing job. He talked about getting unstuck, and he used some great examples that he had as a child growing up there in Utah to help those to get unstuck. And so I won't spoil the call for you, so it'll be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So when you get a chance, feel free to listen to the Newcomers Call. We had newcomers on the call, by the way, and so we appreciate their participation and their questions that they had as well. And then we also want to thank those that were on the call, Wayman and others, Diane, that shared some light on some of the questions that were asked, filling in and sharing their thoughts and their expertise to those that just joined our business. So thank you all for participating in that. And so with that being said, I'm going to turn the time over to Angie for our announcements and updates.
All right. Thank you, Stu. Okay, so before we actually jump into announcements, I didn't get to participate on the Newcomers Call last night. So I was at an activity with my husband or with my family. But hearing that David talked about getting unstuck, I have a little story I wanted to share with you. So you're probably wondering what someone in a ball pit has to do with your business. And I kind of had an experience last week, and I thought, wow, this really relates to life, and it really relates to building your business and becoming unstuck. My mother-in-law, bless her heart, she came over to see her grandson, my son, and my husband and I, we went outside so they could have some grandma and grandson bonding time. And when I came back inside, I went into the playroom and it was filled with his ball pit. His ball pit exploded in the playroom somehow. And it was everywhere. And we don't have this many balls that's on the screen, but we do have this nice little ball pit that he gets to play in. And I came in and the room was filled with balls, and I loved it. I loved that they were having a good time, and she offered to clean it up. And I said, no, you have a long drive. We will clean it up tomorrow. It meant the world to me that she actually came here. She spent the time, and they played and they made a mess of the room. And it was amazing. It was wonderful. So the next day I'm sitting in the room and I'm sitting on the floor trying to clean up all of these balls. And I kept thinking to myself, I am never going to get this done. I am never going to get through this. There are so many balls. It's going to take me all day long to clean up these balls and put them back in the ball pit where they should be. And I'm sitting there and I'm like tossing them in one at a time. And ball pits, these balls from the ball pits, they're not easy where you can't just grab a whole bunch and throw them in. Like you can kind of scoop them into a container and toss them in, but they're not easy to pick up. And then I stood up and I looked around the room and I was like, you know what? I actually have cleaned up quite a bit. And the room actually doesn't look that bad. But my perspective from sitting on the floor was like, I am never going to get through this. I am never going to be able to clean up this room. But I just had to change my perspective. I had to change my view. And I think a lot of us, we get stuck, we get in this rut because we're looking at something from one direction. And that was me last week, sitting on the floor, trying to clean up these balls, putting them back in the ball pit. But as soon as I stood up, the room actually it didn't look that bad. I was like, I'm standing there and I'm like, oh, this is like a 5-minute job. This is going to be so easy to clean up. But I had to change my perspective. I had to look at it from a different angle and realize how much work I already did. And that it's not going to be that bad to get through it. And that it was, yeah. And then I looked back and I was thinking, what a wonderful time they had. What a wonderful time they had playing in the balls, throwing them all around everywhere. And even though it was a mess for me and it seemed like a lot to clean up at the moment, as soon as I changed my perspective and looked at it a different way, it brought me a lot of joy. And so I just wanted to make a quick comment on that and share a little story about changing your perspective, about looking at things a different way and helping you get unstuck. So moving on to our announcements, just a quick reminder, our communications channels, we send out everything on Telegram. So that's going to be our promotions, our calls. Sometimes we send out the recordings. Speaking of the Newcomers Call last night, I know a lot of you are requesting it. So it is uploading to YouTube, and I will share the YouTube link after on this call in the chat. So be watching out for that. And then we'll also share it on Telegram. So if you have not subscribe to our Telegram channel, be sure to download it, subscribe so that you can get all of our updates. And then text blast, we send out reminders for our calls. So text the word activate to the number on the screen, and then you will get the reminders for our calls. And I just want to remind you guys that it's important to engage in our social media. So our Instagram is Actives USA, and our Facebook page is also Actives USA. So be sure to like, share, subscribe to all of our social media so that you can get our updates. We do wonderful product posts on Facebook and also Instagram. So this will also help you talk about the products and learn some new things about our products and give you some images that you can also share on your own Facebook or social media pages. Okay, so for the month of October, we announced a promotion where any reorder or auto ship that is placed, you are going to receive either product credits or additional product. So you don't have to do anything to your auto ship except for if you want the whole set, you just have to make sure your auto ship is set for $480. But if you have an auto ship or reorder of $100 to $199, you're going to get 15 product credits. If your auto ship or reorder is $200 to $299, you're going to get a toner. And if it's $300 to $479, you'll get the toner and the mud. And if you have a reorder or auto ship of $480 or more, then you'll get the complete Amora set. So this is a great value, and you don't need to do anything. The product will be included in your order. And then also, this is the last month for the 500 Club. You had from August until the end of October to enroll 10 distributors on 200 PV or more to qualify for the 500 Club. So if you haven't already qualified, be sure that you know what your plan is, you know what your goal is, and so that you can get there to qualify for the 500 Club through the end of October. And that's basically all that we have for announcements for today. So Stu, I'm going to turn the time back over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Angie. So last month, we still have, 11 days or so, 12 days or so in the month to achieve the 500 Club. It's an exclusive club. It's one that you can hang your hat on as you go and build your business, because one of the questions is a distributor go, what pack did you sign up for? Did you achieve the 500 Club? And so those are all the questions that when you enroll people, they will be asking. And so if you can say yes to this, yes to that, then it will only be easier for your team members to duplicate because you have already done it. As Angie pointed out numerous times, as David also pointed out on the Newcomers Call last night, if you guys don't have a plan, let us know. We will be more than happy to help you. We'll get on 3-week calls, as Coco pointed out. And that was one of the advice that Wayman also shared on the Newcomers Call last night is, utilize the three-way calls, the ABC method. And so we're more than happy in any way that we can. We can be an advisor, we can be a bridge, whatever you guys need us to be to get your customers to join your team. We'll be there for you, supporting you, and also helping you any way that we can. So great at promotions, and we look forward to helping you any way that you feel fit that we can to grow your business and to achieve your goals and your success. With that being said, I would now like to turn the time over to our CEO, David Brown.
Thanks, Stu. And hey, we are really sorry for the losses that you're going through. I think Stu's a perfect example of the fact that a lot of people that we meet and interact with on a daily basis are going through stuff that we don't know. And Stu's always, I don't know, I've known Stu for, geez, man, 12, 13 years now. How long has it been, Stu? We've been through a lot together. We've traveled together. And I've never, ever seen Stu Carvalho without a smile on his face. And without being in a situation where he's trying to lift others up and pump other people up. And not often, to my chagrin and disappointment, do I really stop to think about, well, I wonder if everything's really going okay with Stu. He's so busy pumping me up and pumping other people up that I'm often not taking the chance to make sure that everything's going okay in his life. And so our hearts and our prayers are with you, my friend. And we know that's a tough thing. I'm also surprised by Angie's story because I've known Angie for about the same amount of time. And I've never known Angie to get overwhelmed by anything, period. So when she was talking about looking at this thing, and I wonder if I'll ever clean this up, I'm like, that's not the Angie Hawthorne I know. She can do anything. But what I am most disappointed in is that she said that she went to a office party with her husband. She didn't say that it was a Halloween party. And she also didn't say it was a costume party. And she also hasn't shown us her costume. So I was really disappointed that she didn't show us her costumes. Angie, I'm not sure I will get it right. What were you guys going as again last night? Maybe some people can understand what it was. Oh, she's frozen. Am I frozen? Can you still hear me? Okay. Maybe Angie's not there. I think she said that they were dressing up as a cartoon family called, was it Bluey? Is that what it is, Angie?
Yep, Bluey.
So we're looking forward to having those pictures posted soon.
I will be sure to share them. We were quite cute.
That's great. I'm looking forward to it. Last night was actually a lot of fun. Those Newcomers Calls, all of our interactions together are fun. I was thinking about the courage it took for Patrick. Do you remember Patrick? I think it was Ekanem. I'm not sure if I'm saying his last name correctly. He was on the call tonight. I'm not sure if he's on today as a newcomer. And it took a lot of courage for him, number one, to get on a call with and to say something in front of everybody else. I don't think he knew too many people, if anybody, on the call. Number two, to admit, ask for help. He said, I'm not sure, how to get started. And it was great that so many of you gave him advice. Now, it's always good to ask ourselves, are we inclined to follow the same advice that we give to other people? And so as people were saying, follow the success guide, follow this, I know I'm actually a perfect example of being full of advice that I often don't follow myself. So if you were not on that call tonight or last night, or even if you were, I would suggest that you follow the advice that was given, to reach out, use the app, follow the success guide, and do those and utilize those tools that are available for you. It's lunchtime here in Utah, and I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. Stu introduced me to something called intermittent fasting. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. And I've been doing intermittent fasting now for, wow, Stu, when did you introduce it to me? About 5 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. It's been a while. And I really like it. Now, it wasn't easy to begin with. You might say, well, what is the whole thing about intermittent fasting? Well, actually, it's the reason that intermittent fasting is actually quite healthy for you is that, we talk a lot about the damage caused by oxidative stress, by inflammation. Did you know that damage actually causes cells to die? And that's called cell apoptosis. And when those cells die, those parts of the cells are kind of like just junk. Okay, they aren't used for anything, but they're still in your body. And so what intermittent fasting does is kind of clears the junk out, the debris, sometimes which you hear about telomeres, and telomeres are these long kind of antenna-like things on the end of our chromosomes, and they're often linked to how long we're going to live and how healthy we're going to live. And oxidative stress can actually cause breakage of those telomeres and other things. So what we want to do is we want to clear that junk out. And that's a process called autophagy. And autophagy is something that intermittent fasting kind of causes your body to do automatically, just clear the junk out so that things can run a little bit more smoothly. And as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about the fact that what are some other things that we could probably clear out of our lives, kind of like Angie's clearing the room out of those balls that are kind of cluttering things up. Are there other things that are kind of getting in the way of the things that we really want to accomplish, whether it be at actives or in other aspects of our lives? For me, the answer is yes. I know that I can use my time more efficiently. I can take stock and say, am I really doing the things that I'd want to do, including the things that have nothing to do with actives, but are just important parts of being, a good human being. I look at this call and I look at people who have really made a significant impact in my life. I welcome my good friend Ed Weathersby back to the call. A lot of you don't know him, but Ed entered my life probably about 10 years ago or so, 11 years ago at another company. I'd given a presentation where I'd shown a picture of my new grandson. And my grandson had been, I can't explain it perfectly. Ed probably could, he's a doctor. But some of the tendons and things in his neck were so tight that they were actually causing his head to be misshapen. And so he had to, maybe if you've seen these little kids that have to wear helmets, so my little grandson Max was in a helmet to kind of help his head form properly, so it wasn't misshapen. And I talk about courage. You can imagine the courage it took for Dr. Ed Weathersby to after this event make his way up through the crowd of, I don't know, must have been a couple of thousand people there at that event, and come up to the CEO, whom he didn't know, and offer advice. And say, there's actually some things that can be done, and I can recommend some doctors. Where does your daughter live, to help make that process go more smoothly and ensure a better result, and not have to stay in that helmet for so long. And I thought to myself, wow, that's amazing that he would do that he would take the time and effort and reach out to me and make his way through that crowd. And guess what? He recommended a doctor. My daughter went to him. It had remarkable results. And my grandson, Max, is now 11 years old, has a really good looking head, covered with wonderful hair, by the way, doesn't get that gene from my side of the family. But, and much of that is because somebody just decided to reach out and make a difference in my life and my family's life. So Ed Weathersby, whether he likes it or not, is now part of the Brown family and the Brown family lore, and has literally touched generations. And so I think about that and I think, well, you know what, there are other heroes that I have on this call. I look at Karen Toth. Karen is someone that I've known now for 3 or 4 years, 5 years, and I've seen her at the height of heights and at the low of depth, the lowest of lows, and she has an unfailingly optimistic attitude, at least in public. I know that sometimes in private she probably might get a little bit down, but she is always looking for ways to touch others. I look at Scott and Melissa Ford. Scott is Karen's brother, and they just went through that horrific hurricane in Florida, and talk about the winds of life and being buffeted by the winds of life. They literally were, and yet they're looking for ways to help other people. And I guess what I really want to think about is, this lunchtime, I could think about going out and get a Subway sandwich. Did you know that that Subway sandwiches, those sub sandwiches, depending on what part of the country you're in, they're called other things. They're called grinders. They're called hoagies. When I was a kid, they were always called hoagies. Okay, but my favorite word for that sandwich is a hero. In certain parts of the country, they're called hero sandwiches. And so I think that all of us, whether we actually go out and get a sandwich or not, can really partake of a little hero sandwich today, and pat yourself on the back. If you won't, I will, for the heroes that you are in the lives of so many. I know that I know that Corinne, I know that Diane, I know that others are caregivers, and that's not easy to do, 24/7. I know that there are people who are reaching out. Wayne is holding down a full-time job and at the same time is trying to be a leader and a husband and a father and doing things that those are truly heroic in my mind. So please don't judge yourself on what your current status, whatever A you are at Actives. I'm really just happy that all of you are heroes in my life, heroes in the lives of others. And as long as you have a mindset of wanting to reach out and help others with Actives or with other things, you'll accomplish everything that you have the potential to become. And that's extraordinary. And I look forward to hearing about, seeing the other ways you're going to touch other people's lives and my life going forward. And so I appreciate you being with us today. I see that Ryan has joined us, complete with the tie. And I don't want to let the opportunity to either see his tie or hear his voice go without letting him participate today. So Mr. Thompson, do you have some words to bring us home with today?
Thank you, David. I put this tie on just for you. I'm kidding. Thanks. Those are great comments, David.
Very heroic of you. So
yes, I have a fear of ties. So yes, I'm feeling heroic. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I won't take very much time. I really enjoyed David's thoughts. And I think I will go eat a hero sandwich for lunch as soon as we're done here. I wanted to say happy October. There's two things I want to share with you. One, I'm going to share my screen, actually. I think I've got it up. Some of you will remember some time ago, we shared with you, let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen here. There we go. You should be looking at a picture of my daughters. This was, I think, 2 Octobers ago, following an event. They were given 2 dresses, sort of Oaxacan style. And in Oaxaca, we have a special member of the Actives family. Some of you guys remember the movie Coco, Disney Pixar movie, which kind of is all about the Day of the Dead, celebrated mostly in Mexico, but in other countries of Latin America. We've talked about this before because sort of the main protagonist of this animated film is a woman named Mama Coco, right? David, I know you've talked about this as well. And why she is interesting and why I wanted to share this with you today is I got a message from, there she is actually holding Genomics. I understand that she has been using our other products as well. It really almost back to when we launched the company Actives. Well, I got a message the other day from Susana Gutierrez, who I don't see here, but I was just on a Zoom with her and a team just about an hour ago. She passed away this month at the ripe old age of 109 years old. So I wanted to share that with you because I know that we have some Mama Coco fans here at Actives. I've been a big Mama Coco fan, and ever since Susanna and some other members of the team shared with me that picture and said, hey, do you know the movie Coco? Well, guess what? She's one of our customers and she's been using the trifecta for quite a while now. So I think 109 years that's a great number. I think that's the number that I'm going to shoot for, but I want to share that with you. And for those of you who weren't aware that we had her as a member of the Actives family, it's something that we should all be proud of. And I think it's, it says a lot about her lifestyle, and I like to think that our products have something to do with her wellness. I will say also that because we're in the month of October, and I think it's apropos to share that because that holiday is actually celebrated at the end of this month and the beginning of November, November 1st. I want to talk a little bit about October because we are having a great month, and we're having a great month here in the United States. I'll just share sort of high level numbers. We're up about 26% month over month this day compared to the same date of last month, about 26% overall as a company, and just over 26% in the United States, so closer to 27%. So I just want to congratulate all of you. That's significant. And why that's so significant is, I want you to think about that. If we were to grow between 20 and 30% each month over month, we'd be doubling the size of our company in about 4 months, less than 4 months, in fact, because it would grow, it builds on itself. So that is a great rate of growth to have as a company in a very, very important month. And one more thing that I'll say about that, and want to make sure that I'm also congratulating all of you for your really, really hard work. We have November coming up, we have December coming up, we have January coming up. These are months with a lot of holidays. Some people like to take time off. There's a lot of distractions, and this month is a really important month. I had a mentor once explain September and October and April and May and June this way. They'd say that when you're building your business, it's kind of like if you want to get through the slow months, right? So November, December, and January, you've got to make sure you're working really, really hard during the months where there are fewer distractions. And he compared it to a rubber band, right? That you pull back, and depending on how far back you pull that rubber band, depending on how many irons you have in the fire in the month of September and October, it's going to have everything to do with how far that rubber band eventually goes, or in other words, how much you have, how much productive work you have ahead of you in November, December, and January. So if you want to avoid some flat months, if you want to avoid a real uphill battle, make sure that you have a lot of irons in the fire this month. We're still, I mean, technically right around the middle of the month, the best days of October ahead of us. So make sure that you're really doing everything you can to have a banner month. Talking about banner month, last month was pretty significant. I realize that we're 26% over where we were last month, but last month was a great month, and we've talked about that on this call. I wasn't here last week, but I'm assuming that our team shared that with you. But not only was it a banner month, but we had some really cool stories that were sort of told and created last month. Angie was talking about stories. David touched on the importance of stories as well. We had a story of a mom and a daughter, a mother and a daughter last month hit the ranks of A10 and A11. And we're actually going to be hearing from them at our 5-year anniversary event next month in Mexico City. The mother's name is Marta, the daughter's name is Grecia. Some of you know who they are. And it's really interesting because Marta but they have very different stories. And I was thinking about this when we were trying to come up with what we're going to ask them to present on, because they're very different. Their personalities, it's a mother-daughter, but they're quite different. The mother got involved because she's a director at a nonprofit organization in Mexico for children with cancer. And she was introduced, that's actually how she was introduced to our products. And she saw some pretty significant health benefits with some of the individuals who participate in this nonprofit, some of the kids, some of the children. And so she got turned on to the business. She found out that there was also a business opportunity, and her daughter was a very young new mom as well, and really in a situation where she needed to make ends meet and wasn't able to do that at her other job. So both of them grabbed actives with both hands, grabbed the bull by the horns, and said, okay, we need this as a business as well. And they started to work in their own separate ways. The daughter, Grecia, really focused on online marketing on TikTok and Instagram, and had quite a bit of success. Like I said, she hit A10 last month. And her mother, Marta, who hit A11 last month, did it the old-fashioned way, right? Talking to people, person to person, sharing testimonials, asking for referrals, following the success guide. And for me, that really is it's a testament that you can have success, and you don't have to build the business the same exact way. You can build it based on your own personality, based on who you roll with, who your friends are, what your demographic is that you might fall within. And I want everybody to remember that there's not just one way to have success here. There's not just one way to the top, not just one way to hit A16, A12, 13, 14, 15, or 16, right? Now, there are general principles that apply to all ways, right? And those principles are found in the success guide. But make sure that you are looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, okay, what are my unique talents, right? What are my unique skills? What do I have that maybe other people don't have, right? Who do I know that other people might not know? And who do I know that knows someone who I might really want to talk to? And don't be discouraged, right? Don't be discouraged just because somebody or another team has a modicum of success before you, right? The timing for this is different for everybody. But really the beautiful thing is everybody can make it to the top, right? You've got to adapt it to your style, to your persona. In some cases, you have to acquire new skills. You have to train yourself. You have to dig deep and kind of look for what that better version of yourself is. But I just want to remind everybody that there's not just one way to the top, right? As evidenced in the example of Grecia and her mother Marta, right? Very different personalities and took very different approaches, and both are having tremendous success right now. So anyways, that's what I want to share with you. I hope that you all have a great rest of your month. Make sure if you haven't set goals on how you want to close this month, please do it. It's not too much. It's not too late. Like I said, the best days of this month are ahead of us. Then we're going to go into November. There'll be some momentum in the beginning of that month, but make sure you keep your schedule full at the end of November and throughout December and January if you don't want to have a slowdown. And when you put those things on your schedule, when you schedule those events, activities, trainings, presentations, is right now. So anyways, that's my challenge invitation to all of you. And I hope you all have a great day. And I think more than a few of us, David, are probably going to have Subway sandwiches, Heroes for lunch. And that said, Stu, I'll turn the time back to you.
Great. Thank you so much. You both are the heroes to many of us, both David and Ryan. Your words of advice, slingshotting that with the momentum that you have for this month, last month, writing it to the ending of the year. And David hit the nail on the head, where each and every one of you are heroes in your own right. And with that, use that powers, that abilities that you have to build your business, as Ryan pointed out, in the way that you feel fit and that you can control. Use your special skills and talents that you have, because that's what makes you you and the hero that we, David, Angie, Ryan, the rest of the team here at Actives know you. So you don't need a cape. You don't need anything. You don't need even hair to be a hero, right? Everybody's a hero in their own right. And so we love you for who you are, and whatever we can do to help and support you, count us in. And so I want to turn the time over now to Angie for our Wheel of Names.
Okay, so we're going to do a wheel of names, but we're going to ask a question as well. So I'm going to put David on the spot to come up with a question. And Stu, for some reason, since I got kicked off from being the host, can you make me a co-host so I can share my screen? So David, be thinking of a question that we can ask them, and we will do the wheel of names for 2 people, and then we'll ask a question to give additional reward points.
Okay. The question is, who remembers how old Mama Coco was when she passed away?
109.
That was pretty fast. I don't know who that was, but that was pretty fast.
I think that was it.
Oh, hey,
Raymond?
Raymond.
I don't think it was Raymond.
Raymond got it.
That was fast, Raymond. Okay. All right. Okay. We're going to spin our wheel of names then, and we'll spin for 2 names for 60 reward points. So everyone can see my screen with the wheel of names. Okay. Here is our first name. Angelica, congratulations. If you could send me your ID number, we will get your reward points added. And then our second name is Karen Myers. Congratulations, Karen. I do have your ID number, so I don't need it. And those were our winners for today. So thank you all for joining. And as I did not send you guys the link for the Newcomers Call, but it will be posted on YouTube, so look for it there. Thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, everybody. Good to see you all.
Everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day,
Have a
everybody.
great
Take
day.
care.
Have a great
Thank you.
day.
Bye.
We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Enjoy your Subway, everybody.
Bye-bye.